This is my heartfelt message to those Christians who are out there who are struggling with mental health at the moment. I want to come alongside you in this video. I just want to let you know, first of all, that the place that I'm speaking out of, 15 months ago, I went through protracted withdrawals from a medication that wreaked absolute havoc in my brain. It was like my brain was ripped apart and I experienced every sort of, every thought, emotion, hopelessness, overwhelm, all of that stuff. Know that that's the place that I'm speaking from. And in this message, I want to communicate a few things. First of all, how people that are struggling with mental health, Christians, can be misunderstood by other Christians and in the church, and Christians can even say things that aren't necessarily helpful and sometimes even detrimental. Then I want to open up a bit about myself and share some of my thoughts. And then I want to give you some truths from Scripture that I pray will help you in some way with what you're going through. So first of all, it can be a very lonely place for Christians that are going through mental health. I think with any invisible suffering or illness that we have, it can be very difficult for people to understand. And if someone hasn't been through it, it can be impossible for people to really truly understand. And a lot of the times people will be very dismissive. People will say you just need more faith. People might even say it's demonic, you need deliverance, which is obviously nonsense. A born-again believer doesn't have demons, does not need deliverance. And people can even just throw Bible verses at you. Bible verses are good, but people can go about this in the wrong way and at the wrong time. Oftentimes people that are struggling with mental health, they know these Bible verses, they're just really struggling at the moment. And what they need isn't someone to come and fix their problems, because they can't. What they need is someone to come alongside them that actually cares and walks the journey with them. When you hear things like recently John MacArthur saying there's no such thing as mental illness, there's no such thing as ADHD, there's no such thing as OCD, it can be very discouraging and even infuriating for Christians that are struggling with these very real things. And even if someone like that is trying to communicate a greater point, still it's very tone deaf and insensitive, and it makes Christians that are struggling with mental health feel even more isolated. And this is a type of thing that we can experience in the church and amongst other Christians as well. Now, one thing I will say is that we also need to learn to be gracious towards those people. Oftentimes people are trying to, like people around us, friends, are trying to help us. They're trying to say the right things and do the right things. They just don't know what to say and do. So I think it's important as well to be able to understand their heart and to be gracious towards them, even when they're maybe not necessarily saying the things that are the most helpful. But I know that it can be frustrating when you're going through things. Now, as I said for myself, I've always enjoyed a very good mind, a very sound mind, a very clear mind. And then when I went through the protracted withdrawal 15 months ago, it just wreaked havoc. I developed these OCD thoughts, which are continuing. Things have gotten a lot better than where they were, but I'm still going through things which make it hard day to day. It can be a real battle, things which were very easy before. And I've been without sleep. I've been without hope. It felt like I haven't had hope at times. I'm just struggling to get by. But what I do know is that we can only take the step that we can take each day. I felt my thoughts when it was at its worst was just so overwhelming. My head was all tight and I just couldn't see beyond anything. It was just the darkest thing, the most hopeless thing. It was just crazy to happen to someone that hasn't experienced that before. And it gave me a real perspective of what some people are going through. The peace and the joy of the Lord is in me in the deepest place, but it is a struggle to deal with some of the things that are going on. What I want to say to you is I can't fix your problems. I can't take away your problems. But what I want to do is I want to tell you that I care, that I understand to some degree. I've gone through the things that I've told you about, maybe not exactly what you're going through, but I just want to tell you that I care and that what you're going through is very real. What you're going through is very challenging. And I just really want to affirm you in that mental health issues are very real. And a lot of people don't understand, but I want to provide some understanding. I want you to feel less alone. And I know there's a number of us out there, people that leave comments as well. You'll see a number of people that are going through things. When I see this, it grieves me. It really grieves me. It breaks my heart to read some of these comments. But I'm glad that people are continuing to put their trust in the Lord. And what's really interesting is a lot of times people will say, you just need to have more faith. You just need to have more faith. But what they don't realize is that sometimes even getting out of bed, sometimes even doing the things you need to do around the house or going to work or whatever it might be, takes an enormous amount of faith. And these are things that are easy to brush aside, and even you yourself could think nothing of it really. But every single step you take in the face of your adversity is faith, which God honors. It may not look like this grand outward display of faith, but God sees your faith. And He calls you to perseverance day after day after day, even when it's difficult. And when it is so overwhelming and all of your emotions are the opposite of what you think faith looks like, and you're still exercising that faith, you're even picking up the Bible and just reading a verse, or just praising God for the food that you have, or whatever else it might be, that is a big amount of faith that God actually honors. Because of the difficulty that you're going through, you are choosing to exercise that and honor Him, and God will honor you. So I just want to encourage you in that, and you should encourage yourself too with every step that you're taking, and knowing that God sees that. We don't want to use what we're going through as an excuse to just give up and to just not take any steps that we can. But we also want to recognize that it's not easy all the time to take every step that we want to take, and everything that we do, we can know that God honors. There's some verses that really help me, and they relate to the character of God and how He sees us and those who are struggling. There's Psalm 34:18, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalm 73:26, my flesh and my heart fail, but the Lord is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. We see when Jesus was going to raise Lazarus, it said Jesus wept. Even though He knew that He was going to raise him, He wept for the suffering of the people. 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 3-4, it talks about the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort. We see in 1 Peter 5:7, it says, cast your anxieties on Him because He cares for you. So I just want to say, friends, I can't solve what you're going through. But I hope that this message can make you feel less alone. I hope that this message can give you just that little bit of motivation and hope to persevere, just step by step, knowing how meaningful each step is and how God sees that and is happy with that. He's pleased with that. And hopefully some of those verses as well are ones that you can just take and meditate on, and just remind yourself of how God thinks towards you, how He cares for you, and what His heart is towards you. And leave a comment below, and have a look at some of the other comments as well, and you can see that you're not alone. There are a lot of people that are going through a lot of things, and we can be here to support and encourage one another. And I just pray that this message has even just blessed you that little bit. Leave your comments below, friends. And what I'll do is I'll put a message up on the screen where I talk in more detail about what happened with my protracted brain injury as well, if you want to hear a bit more about that. So leave your comments below. Talk to you very soon. God bless you, friends.